Hi y'all, I'm Tamara and this is I'd Rather Be Stitching. Welcome to my Flosstube number 23 video. If you are new or returning, I just want to thank you for stopping in and seeing what I've been up to and hanging out with me for a little bit. I really like the connections I've made since I started Flosstube. So if any of you are lurking in the shadows and too shy maybe to comment on my videos, you're always welcome to email me with comments or questions, or if you just want to chit chat. My email address is i'dratherBeStitching@gmail.com, and that is BEE stitching, not just BE, but it's the same as my channel name at gmail.com. So you're always welcome to email me if you want to chit chat, or if you're just too shy to comment where everyone can see it, which I totally understand, because sometimes I want to leave comments and I'm like, well, maybe that's not one that I want to say out loud. Hey y'all, this is just a note from Editing Tamara. I just wanted to let you know that in the video that you're about to watch, I did film this video on June 2nd. It is now June 15th, and there was just so many problems. I had technical issues when I was trying to transfer the files to do the editing. This was like the day that I filmed. I had editing issues. I lost files in the transfer, you know, and I looked in all the recycle folders and all of these places, because what I do when I film, I transfer all the stuff off of my phone at the same time, just in one big transfer. Well, this time it was several smaller transfers because there's a lot of things, but it was like, you know, pictures I had taken, screenshots of patterns, because our Libby here has the subscriptions to the cross stitch magazines. So I screenshot all the patterns that I want to stitch. So all of those files I just transfer to the laptop when I do my filming, because, you know, I have to transfer the video from my phone onto the laptop to do the editing too. So I just transfer it all on the same day. And I lost so many files. I don't even know what I lost. There was a lot, but I had made sure that they were in the destination folder before I deleted them, as I always do. And for some reason, at one point, the laptop went blip and everything disappeared. I did eventually find the footage that I had filmed, but everything else had disappeared. So I was so upset, because I don't even know what all I lost, because there's a stitch along in a couple of the magazines. It's a year-long thing, and I've been trying to save all of the parts to the stitch along so I could start them. So I don't know what all I lost, but I was so frustrated that day that I just rage quit on the editing that day. And then after that, life has been throwing stuff at me left and right. We had our granddaughter last week because she graduated pre-K and they didn't have a place for her in summer camp or whatever yet, or daycare. I'm not sure what, but they didn't have a place for her yet for summer care. So we kept her a lot of last week, and that's great. We love spending time with her. It just means that there's no editing and stuff going to get done, because I'd, you know, obviously rather spend time with her. But also then we finally got, I told you, well, I will tell you in the video, we did finally get our shed built. But this past week, we had to start bringing all the rest of the stuff over from our storage unit so we can get rid of that bill that we're paying on every month. And so we were just tired. There was just so much going on that I was just too tired to worry about editing. So it has now been even longer since the video. The video was already like a week or so late when I filmed it, and now we're 2 weeks past when I filmed it. So this is a very overdue video. I really want to apologize for that. Also want to apologize because as I'm editing today, I noticed that the fan I had on, you can hear it through the whole video, and I didn't realize that because the day I filmed, the fan was sitting like 5 feet away. So I guess it was blowing just perfectly across the microphone of of my cell phone, and it picked it up the whole time. So I apologize for that. And there's so many crinkle noises. I did not realize. I was just so frazzled that day. There are so many crinkle noises. If you watch with headphones, you might not want to watch this one with headphones this time because it's just chaos. So I want to apologize in advance for all of that and let you know that I will be filming my regular Flosstube. I think is due to be filmed now in 2 weeks. I am still planning on filming that in 2 weeks because I have made some progress on the June goals that I told you about. So I just wanted to apologize in advance. If you stay around to watch it, I really appreciate it. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye, y'all. You know what I mean? Anyway, okay. I have been zooming around this morning like a crazy person trying to get ready for this video. But other things, like real life things, kept popping up that had to be dealt with right then. And so I'm later than usual. Also, I would normally have filmed yesterday, which was Monday, June 1st. But my husband's schedule has changed, and now his appointments are Tuesdays and Fridays. So I will be filming on Tuesdays now. Also, this video is about a week late, maybe a little more. But since I had actual plans for May, the Marine May, my month would have been ready a week before the end of May because I usually film once a month. And I wanted to finish May and then just give you a recap of the entire month. And I think I'm going to try and stay on this schedule so that at the beginning of the month, I can just recap you on how the previous month went. So it's a hot mess here on the table, and I am going to apologize ahead of time for all the crinkles and zippers because I didn't take anything out and get it ready. I was just running out of time. So I'm going to jump right in here with, this is a project that I started not last month anymore. When did I start this? I started this at the very, very end of April. The day that I filmed my last Flosstube video, which was April 28th, is when I started this. It's for the Leap into Spring Sal that Jason X Stitches, I think is his channel, and Michael from Uplift Stitches were hosting this. It was anything that hops, and I did this. Now, I finished the frog. It took me like a day of stitching. And then I dyed this fabric. This is just a 14 count yellow, 14 count Aida that I dyed yellow myself. And then I tucked it in a drawer as per my usual. And then my bonus child, her birthday was the 31st of May. And it's so happy that I wanted to give it to her. So I found this little iron-on daisy in my stuff. I found a font. It took me forever to find a font I liked, and then I still had to tweak it a bit and say I love you, and I stitched all that. And then I found this cute fabric and this ribbon that we had in all of our craft junk. And now this is the first time I've ever finished like this, so I found the batting and everything, and I did it. But I still have to do the stitching where you stitch the two together. Right now it's just held together by a little bit of glue. And then I had to figure out how to finish the sides because I've never done a finish like this. And I know people use the pom-pom and, gosh, I don't know what else people use. Oh, the twisted cording, all kinds of stuff like that. This amount of fully finishing took me literally almost all of Saturday. And I was so frustrated by the time I got this far. And she was supposed to be here that night for a sleepover, but she and Gabby's plans changed, and they ended up staying overnight in Wilmington instead because all their friends had gone to the beach for Casey's birthday. Casey is my bonus child. They had all gone to the beach for her birthday, and so they decided to stay overnight in Wilmington instead of driving back here, which really upset me because I had worked all day on this. So by that point, I was like, well, okay, it's probably going to be at least another week or so before we see her then. So I just set it aside, and I will get back to fully finishing it eventually. But I'm struggling with that because I've never done this part. You know, I'm pretty sure I can stitch up the sides. But I didn't know dilly squat about the cording and the pom-poms. And I was looking online, and I was really having a hard time finding, because I kept finding the bigger pom-poms, and I'm like, no, I know people use the little ones, but I didn't know what size they used. And I was just like, whatever, this is not the time to experiment. And Gabby has a whole lot of this chenille yarn, so it's the puffy stuff. And she had this color, which I think is perfect. So this is how I'm gonna fully finish it after I stitch the two together so they don't come apart. So this is almost fully finished. I will probably finish it this week, because usually we see her, you know, once every couple of weeks or whatever. So I will probably fully finish this week. But, so that's almost a fully finish. Next item, I have a lot of works in progress to show you. So I told you that May was going to be my Marine May. I don't remember specifically which projects I showed you that I would be working on, but I missed, I think, 2 of them. So if you see a couple of extras here and you're like, wait a second, those weren't announced, that's why. It's because I forgot them. So I will start, oh, this guy took me 2 days to get it this far. So just so you know, as far as I know, as far as works in progress goes, I also have dangling threads. I hope you're okay with that. The one that I know that I forgot to announce was the, it's called Fish in a Bottle. It is my Make It Murder Sal piece from the 2024 Make It Murder Sal that cross-stitched the Grove. I can't even talk today. The Make It Murder Sal that cross-stitched the Globe hosts every fall. This, I believe, was the 2024 one. And I know that I forgot to mention that I was going to be working on this. And it was mostly a lot of blue fill-in. So what I did was I made this a daily 30 piece, and I just worked on it for 30 minutes a day. I tried to call it my morning stitch, but I almost never did it in the morning. So we'll just call it a daily 30. And I made a lot of progress on it. I'm going to try and find pictures from the beginning of May so that you can see how much I actually did in May, and then I'll post those up here too so you can see the progress for the 1 month. So this is the one I did. And okay, I'm struggling. And let me look. Okay, yes. I think I did these plants here and these 2 here, and then all of the blue fill-in that's done except for one little patch near the corpse that was already started. But let me get you a little close up. This is a body dump picture. There's going to be a little dude in a boat fleeing the scene eventually. So I made quite a bit of progress on this, just doing 30 minutes a day. So I'm really happy about that, because otherwise stitching all this blue would have really bored the tears out of me. So that's that one. And I worked on that one. I think I went a week into May before it occurred to me that I could make that one a daily 30 piece. So once I made it a daily 30, I worked on that one a total of 17 days in May, which is amazing. So my next work in progress is here. As I said, this is a mess. Okay. This is the Koi Pond Mill Hill kit that I've been working on. I worked on this one for 4 days. That doesn't seem right. Only 4 days? Okay. 4 days. I counted when I was preparing, so I'll take my word for it. So this is the Koi Pond. I did fill in more of the fish on this side, and otherwise I was just filling all of this in, working my way up. I'm saving all the beading for last. because that's what the directions say to do, and I've never done one, so I want to do it like it says first. I know some people do the beading as they go, but I don't know. I've never done them before, so I just figured I'd do it like it says this time. So that one got 4 days. And then I started this this whale project. This is a Happy Little Mouse pattern from Etsy. This is the same designer as the one that did the fish in a bottle that I just showed you. So this is the one I started for Stitching with Charlie's birthday. She's doing a hashtag, well, hello there, Sal. Everybody loves how she says that. I don't say it right either, but she says it very, very charmingly. So this is the piece. There's a lot of blue in this. I did get tired of blue. Between this one and the fish in a bottle, I used a lot of blue this month. So this is how far I got. And when I got tired of the blue, I took white and stitched in some of the bubbles. And then right here, this is like the whale neck. I started filling in some of that. So that's how far I got on the whale. And it's just called whale. How many days did this one get? I'm sorry, you guys. I have notes everywhere. This one got 9 days. 9 days of May. And I will tell you, I also counted my lack of stitching days because this month I missed a surprising number of stitchy days. So I wrote stats on that. I had 4 days where I didn't craft at all. And I had 6 days where the only craft I did was the 30-minute daily stitch. So 10 days straight away out of the month that none of these other projects got worked on. And the reason is because we had a lot going on. In a previous video, I told you guys that this house we just moved into in February doesn't have a shed or a garage or anything. So we had to get permission to build a shed in the backyard because this is a very particular neighborhood. And even though they don't have a homeowners association, they're particular about what you can put outside, which is fine. It's a nice neighborhood. But we had to get permission to put it up before we even signed the lease because we knew we were going to need a shed. And my husband and I are the ones who had to build it. Gabby was working a lot and we couldn't schedule any time with any of our other kids to come and help. And some neighbor boys kept coming over saying, hey, do you have any work we can do? We need money, blah, blah, blah. And we told them several times, if you would come on this day at this time, you can help us build this shed and we'll pay you for it. And they always showed up on rainy days or on days when we had already finished. And I was like, okay, we're done today, but if you come back whatever day at 11 or whatever. The problem is that they're kids and they're homeschooled apparently, so they could have come in a day if they had gotten permission, but it's been so stinking hot. It's been near 90 a lot, and we've had thunderstorms or rain almost every day for like 2 weeks. It's weird, but so we've had a tough time with the weather cooperating so we could build the shed. So every time we did get out there to work on it, it was like 90 degrees, and we were trying to do it in the morning before we died. So it took us quite a while to get the shed built, and it's a pretty good size, but we had to, you know, build the floor part, the flooring and all that, because it was just a shed kit. Yeah, it took us a lot, but it's like an 8x12, so it's a pretty good size for 2 people to be working on. But by the grace of God, we finally got it finished. So that took away a lot of my stitching time, because by the time I came in from that, rested, cooled off, and then fed us, I was done for the day. And I mean, we were coming in at like 1 and 2 o'clock by 1 and 2 most days, and I was just like tapped, you know. So I didn't even stitch most of those days. And then Gabby and my husband Actually, my husband graduated already. He just didn't walk the stage. But Gabby just graduated from the local college a couple weeks ago. And we had family come into town for the weekend, you know, that she was graduating and everything. So whenever there's family here, obviously I'm not stitching usually because I'm hanging out with my kids. But so I missed a weekend there of stitchy time. So I actually missed quite a lot of days. And I'm still pretty happy about the progress I've made this month. So let me just be quiet and show you what I've done. I can get on some tangents. Okay, floating house was one that I might have forgotten to tell you guys. I don't remember at this point. No, I think I did tell you this one. I only worked on this one day, and it was not for a very long time. I think this little strip here, pink, of this dark color, that's all I did. So there's the total thing, and it got one day, which looking at it was probably only about half an hour or an hour's worth of work. That's not very impressive. Okay. The next one was a new start, which I started with Lisa Stitching with Lou, who is in the comments. Katie and her Flosstube channel is Jeremiah's mom. We were the only two at first, and then Michael from Uplift Stitches had it in his stash, and Catherine, who is accounting my stitches, had it in hers. So they both joined us in this. So this is another Millhill kit. It's called Haunted Lighthouse. I apologize again for the noise I'm making. There's what it'll look like when it's finished. And this was a new start. So this, where in the world? Here it is. This one's hard to see because I need something dark behind it. All I have is the white background, but can you see it? There. So that's what I've done. This part of the water and the sky is that lighter gray, and then this lighthouse, and over here is the little roof of the house. Oh, there, that's better. All right, so all of that is what I did in May, and that was 6 days on that one. Okay. That one I'm really enjoying, but I've discovered that, like all black Ada, I can't really do that at night, and sometimes I forget to take it out during the day and get some work on it while I can see it. Okay, the next whip or work in progress is Deadly Aquarium. This is the Lola Crow stitch along from, I don't even know what year. You guys probably already know. And I was working on this for my Marine May, but also Karen, the Twitchy Stitcher, is doing a Stitcher Crow. I think because I think it was for May. A Stitcher Crow for her birthday. So happy birthday, Karen. And happy birthday, Catherine. We'll get to that one. But, so this, what did I do? I worked a little bit on this part of the frame, and then, I think it was these plants in here. I think I was working on these. So I didn't do much. That one just had 2 days, and it was probably very short days, knowing me and all that was going on. So I think that is all of the works in progress I did. The Whale and the Haunted Lighthouse, those were the new starts. Oh, okay. I do have one more work in progress, which is my Bluebell. This is for the Heaven and Earth Designs 2026 stitch along. And I only worked on it 2 days. There we go. I was trying to get it to 6%, because I was at 5% on the last video, but I only made it to 5.7 something percent, 5.72% is roughly what it is. I should have checked before I got on here because it's always on this phone. Pattern keeper. Anyway, so I don't know if you can see, I was working in this, well, I worked some down in this one, filling in this, and then I moved up to here on this darker blue to get some quick stitches. And then I calculated and I realized it was going to take like another 200 stitches, and I was like, no, it's too late at night. I'm not going to make that before I film. So, because that was night before last when I thought I was going to be filming yesterday. But still, I mean, you know, 2 days. I put in, oh, I have it here. I'm only keeping up with stitches on this project because this is the one that I've assigned to Andrew, the runner stitchers, whip into shape. I only did 263 stitches this month, but that was over 2 days, so it's not bad. I do need to get back to that, but since I made all these fabulous plans, I don't know when that's going to happen. Okay, those are the works in progress. I have one other new start. I know this is all out of order. It's probably going to be a beast to edit, but this is for Catherine Accounting My Stitches birthday stitch along. Oh, that's upside down. She wanted us to stitch something to do with joy for her birthday, or something that makes you happy. And this one doesn't have words, but it is called The Moo the Merrier, which is hilarious, and I've had it in my stash and wanted to start it. So this is my amazing start. This is actually this is a vintage 11 count Ada. I hardly ever, actually, safe to say that the only time I've ever stitched on 11 count is with the stamped kits I have, which I accidentally got 11 count on a couple of them. But my mother has a ton of 11 count, and I inherited all of her stuff when she stopped cross stitching. So there were, like this frog, there are little packs of they call them like Ada shortcuts or something. They're already cut. They were different colors. Most of them were white or some kind of off-white, and they're 6 by 6 inches. And I was trying to dye fabric for this cow. Those turned out not to be big enough, but this was one of those 6 by 6 little scraps that I used, and I dyed it myself. But she also has tons of 11 count, and I'm like, I'm always going to have this stuff sitting in my bin of craft stuff if I don't just use it. So I dyed it this light blue. I actually dyed several pieces of fabric at the same time. I was just doing like different colors and trying different stuff. So this is just a light blue that I dyed it. It's 11 count, so I'm stitching with 3 strands. And it was originally charted, I think, it's by the Blue Flower. I don't know if I said that. So The Moo the Merrier by the Blue Flower. I think it was charted with sulky threads or something like that, but I'm doing a DMC, my own DMC conversion, just with ones that I already had on hand, because this was a very spontaneous thing. But that's my start on the cow, and she's cute. She's super cute. So now, happy birthday, Catherine. I hope you have a great birthday. And her birthday is in June, so I just started the cow last night. That's why it's only a small amount. Okay, next, because I did not write notes. Give me 1 second to check my mess. All right, hold all those. Okay, so these are things that don't normally come up. I'm gonna call it Stitchy Kindness, and give me 1 second. I forgot to grab it. Okay, we'll call this Stitchy Kindness. So one of our daughters is the one that came to stay for the weekend of Gabby's graduation, and we had not seen her for, I think we figured it was like 2 years, maybe a year and a half, I'm not sure. We hadn't seen her for a while, and at first we didn't think she was going to be able to make it, but she was able to come. She took a bus over, and we totally surprised Gabby. She had no idea. And her name is Jennifer, and she made me she made me a, gosh, what is it called? A present. Oh my goodness, my brain. She made me a present, and she said she finished it like 2 years ago, but the last time she did come to visit, she forgot to bring it. So this is what she made for me. Yeah, in 2024, because she put her initials and a date on it. Hanging with my Nomies. So she remembered to bring it this time. This is what she made for me. I love it. It's adorable, and I've already got it hanging on the wall. This is like, other than a clock and a spice rack and my cello, this is the only thing hanging on the wall right now. But she did say that she went in and changed some of the gnome colors. She changed this to purple because she knows that's my favorite color. And I think she changed this one with the pink because I also love pink. So that is what she made for me. I adore it, and I have it hanging right over there, so I had to bring it. And also, while she was here, I told you guys in the past that I had asked all my kids and my bonus daughter to stitch owls on this 100 owls, and so that it'll be a family piece. And she stitched hers while she was here, but apparently the last time I showed you this, I had only done like 2 stitches of this tiny little owl. And she doesn't like hanging threads, so she stitched that owl first, and then she did the one she had picked already, which is this one way on this other side over here. So she stitched that owl while she was here. And it's super cute. And once everyone has stitched their owls on the master thing, where it shows all of the locations of the different owls, I have all their names written beside the ones that they're doing, and I'm going to go in and stitch either their name under the owls they did, or I'll stitch their initials. It depends on how much space is between all of them when the whole thing is done. So that was nice. I was really glad that she got hers done while she was here, and I love the project she made for me. What else? Okay, I think the only other thing that's current is to show you the sock I've been working on. Yeah, I had 2 new starts, well, 3 new starts because I started the other one yesterday. Okay. So, the only other thing I've been working on is this pair. Well, it's not a pair. The first sock is already done. This is the second one. So I've been working on this. I joined the Summer Sock Camp 2026 that's hosted by the Crazy Sock Lady. It goes from, I think it was the last week of May until the very end of August. So I have set myself a couple of goals for that. The first goal is to finish the 2 socks. If you've been here before, you'll probably remember. If you're new, I was knitting the socks 2 at a time. That's why I have the long one. I had a blue one and a green one so I could keep them apart, tell them apart while I was working. But then I got into some trouble with one of them, and I had to separate them. So when I finally finished the first green and the first blue one, I decided just to do the second sock for each pair by themselves, so I don't get all mixed up and mess them up again. So this is the second blue one. I want to finish this one, then I want to knit the second green one, and then I want to make another pair of socks. These turned out to be really, really tall. It was my first time using the vanilla sock pattern, so I didn't realize how tall they were going to be. and they go about halfway up my calf, and I don't like that at all. So the next pair that I want to do for the summer sock camp is I want to do some shorty socks. So I don't know what, I think a shorter cuff, maybe an inch or an inch and a half cuff, and then that same amount again as the ankle part. I think that's as tall as I want it, because I don't like really tall socks, especially when it's summer. But even in the winter, I don't wear socks that are that tall. So, in preparation for that, I did get birthday money that I hadn't spent, because I've been debating for ages on what I should spend it on, because it's a finite amount and there's an infinite number of things that I want. I finally decided on this. Is a box of all those stitch markers, the ones that, you know, the little metal ones that clip shut. I got this on Amazon. It's like 100 of them, and it was $6. And the reason is because I had to keep borrowing this kind of stitch marker from Gabby, and she is preparing to move out soon. So, you know, I need my own stitch markers to keep up with stuff. So I got those, and then I got a new Chowgu needle. This time, it's really hard to see, but it's just a 9-inch circular needle. Since I'm going to start doing the socks one at a time, I don't need this massive chunk of cord, because this just gets me in trouble. So I got a little 9-inch circular. I think the pattern is a little different though, because you're not doing needle 1 and needle 2. So I'm going to have to watch her video for that. The Crazy Sock Lady has a video for that kind too, so I'll watch it and make sure it's not completely different. So I got that. I got a couple other things that are completely irrelevant to crafting, but just hobby related. And for the new socks, the shorty socks I'm going to do, I have this yarn. This is a yarn that I bought from a yarn shop in the next town over when we lived there 100 years ago, when I first tried learning to knit socks. She said all I would need were the big circular needles and 2 skeins of this yarn. And then I failed epically at sock knitting, and so many years ago I started making this into a sweater. It's like a tank sweater that you would wear like another tank under it. Only to discover that I can't find this yarn anymore, and that yarn shop closed, which is sad, because it was the only little craft shop here other than quilting shops, and I don't know anything about quilting. So, excuse me. So I needed like 4 or 5 skeins to do this sweater. So I'm gonna rip this out, because this is two full skeins, and I'm going to make shorty socks out of this. This is the happiest yarn I've seen. I've wanted something to wear from it for years, but I had given up at that point on sock knitting. And I finally found like a tutorial video on Craftsy, which is how I knitted my first 2 pair of socks. And then the 3rd pair of socks is when I switched over to the Crazy Sock Lady's vanilla sock pattern. So that's what I'm working on now. So my plans for June, well, for the sock plans are between now and the end of August. The cross stitch plans for June are to work on the piece, the cowl for Catherine's birthday sow, and I'm doing summer projects for June. I have some of them here that I'm going to show you where I am, and if I have forgotten some of these, like I did the Marine May, then I will just show them to you next month. So this is a summer sampler. This is a light pink 14 count Aida. I did not dye this one. This one, yeah, I didn't dye this one. This one was bought already pinked. So that is where I'm starting this month on with that piece. And then I will be working on this Together Dogs kit that Gabby got me a couple of years ago. This is what it will look like. And this is how far I've gotten. Not very far. So these are all the projects that make me think of summer. And so some of the Marine May ones are probably going to be carried over to June because some of them are very summery in my opinion as well. The next one is one of the stamp kits I started for my birthday a couple of years ago. It's this one. It's a no-name China kit because I didn't know any better back then. I call it Jungle Cat. And the only part I've really done so far is part of this parrot up in the top. And then I started some of the background up here. So this is the parrot and there's some background. And it's not very much. It's just that much. And it's a pretty good size. Pretty good size. So we'll see how much of that I can get done this month. And then there's a little tiny American flag map project. It's a free pattern from DMC. It's not very big. I should have finished it ages ago, but I haven't because there's always more things to stitch. Let me get this board. There we go. So that's how far I've gotten on that. It has been in its little bag for far too long. And then the next one is the Make It Murder Sal piece from 2025. So last year's Make It Murder Sal. This is, it's a choose your own adventure pattern from Etsy. I think it was, who was this pattern by? Stitchonomy. That's what I thought, but I figured I'd get it wrong if I just blurted it out. So it's by Stitchonomy on Etsy. And you have your choice of like a day scene or night scene. You can do a little camper or a tent. You can do a grill or a fire pit. And then you can do a dog or a cat. So all the parts have different patterns and you just pick the one you want for that section because it's divided into 4 sections. You just pick the one you want for that section and stitch it. So I picked night and I dyed this fabric. It's a 14 count. 14? Nope, this is 18 count, I believe. I think this is 18 count 8. It might be 16, but I have the info panels and hopefully I'll edit this properly and put them up. So, Ada, but I dyed it this blue mottled look so it kind of looked like night, so I didn't have to stitch all the dark stitches for the sky. And then I picked the tent instead of the camper, and the fire pit instead of the fire pit. Am I stitching the fire pit? I think I am doing the fire pit instead of the grill, but I'm leaving the animals out because this little log, I stitched some blood onto it for the murder part. And there's going to be a little blood trail that goes back into the trees that are over here. And then I have a little axe charm that I bought right there. And I'm going to paint a little blood on the blade of it and attach it onto the tree stump. And that is, that's the murdery part. So, and then they'll have little bloody footprints or just a blood trail. I haven't quite gotten there yet, so I don't have to decide yet. Oh, it's going to go this way, I believe. And possibly like some feet sticking out of the woods. I haven't gotten that far yet either. Since this one is just from last year, I actually was focusing more on the fish in a bottle one, which is from the year before. So that is my Make It Murder piece from 2025, which also looks like summer. And then I have, this is called Summer in the Village, but that's its name in Russian. I think that if Americans had named it, we would have called it Summer on the Farm, because it's actually a farm, not a village, but that's okay. It's called Summer in the Village. It's an owl forest embroidery pattern. It's super, super cute. I love it. And I am doing this on, what is this? And I have new glasses, so I'm not looking right. Okay, so the murder one I just showed you must have been a 16 count, because this one is even smaller. So it's an 18 count. This is an 18 count tea-dyed Ada. Ada is my happy place, but I do like some even weaves and one linen. But mostly Ada, because that's what I have a plethora of. So that is as far as I've gotten. Some, I think it's a tomato plant, a dog, and a little bunny. That's all I've done so far. So I'll be working on that one. And then the last one I'll be working on that I remembered. Now, again, some of those Marine Made pieces will probably be pulled out this month. And if I've forgotten any, those will also get pulled out. The last one that I remember is this Quaker Tiles map by Vivsters on Etsy. This is the one I told y'all I had started. This is an 18 count fiddler's cloth, and I had started it 2/1, and I don't mind 2/1 for small projects, or I should say I don't mind 2/1 on 18 count for small projects or for projects that aren't full coverage. This one is almost full coverage. I've gotten this far. It's already way too thick, and I don't like stitching it like this. It slows me down, and I'm real picky about how stitches lay. So I keep fiddling with them, and it's gonna take me forever if I keep doing that, because this is the extended version. This is not the short size. This is the extended one. It's this long. So I don't want to be fighting that for the next 10 years or however long this thing is going to take me. So I'm just going to flip the fabric around. I'm going to restart it right here, doing 1/1 so that it won't feel so thick. And eventually I'll frog this part out before I get to that end. I've got plenty of time before I get there though. So I'm not in a hurry. I'm not in a hurry to frog all those stitches. But that is what I have. Let me check my notes, such as they are. They're terrible notes. They're scribbles everywhere. Let me just give this a look. Yep, that was just my new start. Okay, so those are my plans. I'm going to work on these summer projects and any others that I forgot. And I'm going to work on finishing 2 socks, one blue, one green, and then I want to start a new pair of socks with that other yarn. Those might not all happen in that order because I do have another needle. So once I rip that sweater out, I might go ahead and cast on that pair or that first sock. So I'm not saying that those are going to happen in that order. I'm not saying I'll necessarily finish socks before I start another sock. That's the joy of having more than one set of needles. But I'm pretty sure that's everything I have for y'all today. Yep, because my life update was spattered throughout the video. So I hope y'all are doing well. I thank y'all for joining me. Again, if you ever want to message me or email me, you know, I can be reached through Instagram or email or in the comments below. If you just want to pop a comment, I would appreciate it. And I hope everyone is doing well. And please like and subscribe and ring the bell and do all the things for YouTube. And I will see y'all again at the beginning of July for my June recap. So